Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Floor. I'm your host, Jed. I'm viewing and reviewing the Sepia Studious primetime storylines of 1985. We're back in Denver for a very graphic episode of Dynasty. So whether you're new to this or true to this, sit back and enjoy. Tell the kids it's time to play outside or out of sight. Tell babe no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 45 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, cool, quiet, or kicked out. Only options you have because we are watching our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Soap Floor. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Floor. I hope your day is shaping up well, and I hope you are ready for a good time. I'm fully confident in Season 5, Episode 13 of Dynasty called The Avenger because, well, I mean, why wouldn't I be? What does that mean? What is The Avenger? We're going to find out together. Well, us newbies. If you are an OG to this, I suppose you may or may not remember this episode. I don't know. I've thought about this long and hard. If you're an OG, unless you watch Dynasty regularly, there's absolutely no way you can remember every single episode. You probably remember the major plot points. So in my mind, we are all sort of reliving this or viewing this for the first time together. This episode is sure to be a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and watch this in 15-minute increments because I find that is probably the best bet. Full disclosure, I edited previous episodes before and this was still playing in the background. I didn't see very much. I know that there is a treasure map that is found and I have so many opinions about it. I caught myself in enough time to be like, hey, you don't need to be watching this. Let's keep it clear. All I know is that there is a piece of a map discovered on this episode, but let's figure out what happens on the rest of this together. Season 5, Episode 13 of Dynasty, The Avenger. I actually can't wait for the new Avengers movie. Are y'all Marvel fans? Are we doing that? We went to go see Spider-Man and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I was a little bit hesitant to go because I'm one of them people. Y'all know how I feel about villains. Love them. I like when people bite back, when they pop off. My favorite version of Peter Parker is when he blacked out on everyone. When he, who was it? Tobey Maguire, who I think is kind of goofy looking, but I enjoy him all. Goofy looking in the way he holds a goofy look on his face. I don't think he's a goofy looking individual. He just hits the way his face sits, leads you to believe that he either just farted or did something mischievous. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Favorite version of him is when he blacked out on everybody. He started taking up for himself. He was dancing erotically with whomever he wanted to. He had freedom, and I like that. I like you with a little pizzazz. I like a little spice with my Spider-Man. And I told my family, if this kid goes through something else traumatic, I really can't deal with it. I'm going to collect my things and I'm going to leave. We're going to leave this film. Knowing good well I'm lying because we paid $490,000 to watch it. When did movies get so expensive? I've gotten spoiled. One of my friend's husbands is a manager, or was. So I hadn't paid for a film in a minute, but girl, gentlemen, I had to come up out of my pockets. I didn't even have the decency or the foresight to sneak in a meal. I don't know what's wrong with me. I was tripping. It was a heat. But you guys didn't come to talk about Spider-Man or blacking out or expensive stuff. Actually, you did. You came to talk about Dynasty, which nobody on this show has a problem finding their spine. Nobody on this show has a problem dropping copious amounts of money to entertain themselves. And this episode did just that. It entertained me thoroughly. However, we got to talk about the props on Dynasty. How are you going to have $1 million clothing budget? I don't know that for a fact, but it's got to be pretty close. And then your props are from the 99-cent store, if that. This episode picks up exactly where the last left off. Crystal had just received a Christmas gift in July. She received a beautiful frame that was allegedly expensive and a photograph of two individuals who we're going to say is her sister and Mr. Reese, a.k.a. what's his name? Rock? His name ain't Rocky. His name is Rock. Okay. Thank you guys also for giving me a heads up. I had about 4 people say, hey, Jet, do not Do not, I repeat, do not look into this character. I appreciate y'all for that. I wasn't going to. Thank God I went to IMDb. Apparently this is kind of a big deal that he's on the show because he was like a superstar, which I could see. I'm imagining it'd be like Brad Pitt or somebody on a show. Remember when he was on Friends? I love that episode. Anyway, back to the lecture at hand. Crystal is confronting Mr. Reese. Why are you sending me these photographs? How dare you? I say how dare you to the prop manager on this episode because it's just a photograph of two people and then they just taped. And I do mean taped. What's his name? Rock's head is Mr. Reese's head and Crystal's sister, allegedly. Let her tell it. She is going to tell him off. How dare you send me these expensive gifts? What are you getting at? She wants him to acknowledge what he did. I want you to acknowledge what you did. He's like, what are you talking about? Like bought a frame? She's like, no, don't play in my face. You know what you did. He's absolutely clueless. Before they can get too deep into it, a coworker comes in, or one of his employees comes through and announces there is an issue with one of the horses. They need to move on post haste. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to give you the warning that I didn't get, which is fair because I have asked ad nauseum not to give me any spoilers. No one ever has. This episode, I should have used the power of reasoning and deduction to assume that this could happen on the show. I was unprepared. So imagine, if you will, that there is this perfectly lovely, some might say gorgeous, millennial woman watching primetime soap operas for the very first time. She sits down with her girl dinner, a little broccoli and cheese soup with jalapeno kettle chips, because why not? A little diced fruit that she chopped up real fine so that it looks like caviar because she's too afraid to try caviar, and a couple of white chocolate pretzels. It is a salty, savory, sort of healthy adjacent girl meal. She sits down to watch one of her favorite primetime soap operas. That would be Dynasty. As happenstance would have it, it is season 5, episode 13, called The Avengers. As this woman, let's hypothetically call her Jed, begins to dig into her meal, she sees Crystal Carrington and Mr. Reese. They're inside the horse's stall. This horse has its own stall room, whatever you call it, and it is going through it. It seems to be in a great deal of pain. It is panting. It is looking real rough. And Crystal is right there at her head, stroking the horse. This horse is in labor. Oh my God, she's going to have a little horsey baby. I am crunching away. I had to have the TV up real loud because I'm eating my soup dip. I know what you're thinking, Jet. Why in the hell are you eating soup in the middle of summer? I don't know why I'm eating soup in the middle of summer. It is an uncontrollable craving. It's either been tortilla soup or broccoli and cheese soup, and I'm not eating it in the traditional way. I don't want it piping hot. I like it kind of warm, and I'm using it as a dip. Highly recommend. Make yourself a little sweet and savory plate. It was delicious. Anyway, I'm enjoying my little snacky poo, my little girl dinner, and Mr. Reese's employee comes in and says the veterinarian is on its way. Mr. Reese says, so is this baby. He knows this for a fact because he has got his hand in the horse's guts. He is digging around in the horse womb and he is like, I could tell the legs are crisscross applesauce. This ain't going to work out. We ain't got time to wait. We have to do this stat. He goes all Dr. Tascani on us, but for animals. Crystal continues to stroke the horse's head. And the horse is getting a little bit antsy at this point. Like at one point it tries to jump up. I'm always amazed at animals on TV shows because they're actors, right? This horse is full on acting. I'm highly impressed. And I'm kind of concentrating on that, not realizing what I'm about to witness. Mr. Reese in his cowboy hat looking fully like Jordy Benedict, elbow deep in this horse. Begins to reach in, and before I know it, he's pulling out a baby horsey from this horse's funky Watusi. I had no idea I was going to see horse cooch on television. Just like, what the heck? Did nobody tell me nothing? Which I appreciate because I asked y'all not to, but yeah, full on. elbow deep and gloveless in this horse's funky Watusi. Pulls out the horse, baby, and it goes clitter clopping around. Can you imagine the absolute agony and angry? Imagine the absolute agony this horse is going through, giving birth to a horse that can walk. That freaks me out so bad. And it's got his little hooves and stuff. So he's in there like clod hopping around in her guts. And then oh my God. She fell out after that. She was laying out. Dynasty, I had no idea we was going to see a live birth. A bloodless live birth. I appreciate that, but I didn't know. It's pretty graphic, actually. I guess it was beautiful. Crystal finds it beautiful. She and Mr. Sir go back to his office. They clink glasses. They have a little champagne. They celebrate the birthday of the baby. And they're going to name him, I want to say Trinidad or Truth or something. Not Verdad. Whatever. Naming him Truth. And Crystal thinks she's chewing on that like, Truth, huh? He says that he and Crystal's sister were married and he didn't just walk out on her. He left her because he was in love with somebody else. Based on this episode, at first I thought it was her, but I don't really know. So anyways, they go walking back through the stalls. Crystal puts back on her fur, which I feel like is a little bit inappropriate for the horses. All the horses are trying to eat her fur, by the way. They're all kind of trying to get a little nip. She's having to move real quick or whatever. But he puts it in her head. He's like, girl, have you ever thought about working with horses? You are a natural. The way you were stroking her hair was flawless. You gave her bangs and everything. She looked real good giving birth. Actually, I did all the work and so did the horse. But I mean, you was cute moving her bangs around or whatever. And Chris was like, you know what? I've always wanted to work with horses. Mr. Reese says, well, what would your husband think of that? Oh, he'll be fine with it. She's like, I don't know. I think he'll be fine. He doesn't think so. He thinks that Crystal is married to the type of man who wants her at home, barefoot and or pregnant. Actually, not barefoot. Fly as hell, pregnant, taking care of the kids. That is your full-time job, bossing the maids and servants around, decorating, smiling gleefully whenever you see me, and raising our baby. He says it in so many words, something to the effect of, yeah, he probably just wants you at home. He's going to tell you something like, your job is raising kids now, something like that. She's like, man, shut up, mind your business. So when she goes home, she's coming down the stairs. Stephen is coming into the house. She's like, do you know Mr. Reese? Stephen's like, vaguely. Crystal says, listen, I got to tell you something, Steve. You know baby Daniel? Yeah, that's his name. His name is Daniel Reese. Stephen's son's name is Daniel. Now, I didn't even think about this until now. Baby Danny. Crystal drops a bomb. She's like, okay, short version of this, that man is Sammy Joe's daddy. Stephen's like, no, that race car driver is Sammy Joe's daddy. And that's what I was thinking too. You made that very clear season 2, whatever she showed up. Her daddy is some sort of amateur race car driver. Crystal's like, nah. Actually, my sister swore me to secrecy. Daniel Reese is that baby's dad, is Sammy Joe's daddy. Y'all, they didn't give Sammy Joe she is going to wreak havoc. You see how bougie she was the moment she married Steven. She went and got her name sewn into her fur coat, which I feel like is rightfully so. Everybody else in the house has a fur. She needs a couple. She was ready to spend that money. Now she got a rich horse birther daddy who goes gloveless. I just can't get over that. Gloveless in that horse's Watusi. And then I guess this is what soap and water was for. He pulled out that horse too. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, Sammy Joe has a wealthy father. She is going to be insufferable. Speaking of stallions, our precious Claudia is going through it. As she rushedly packs her ish, Adam passes by the open door. He strikes me as a peeping Tom, so he peeps and he sees that the stallion is poorly packing up her crap. He converses with her long enough to learn that she and Steven are having trouble. They're going through it. She didn't really mention that she was banging Chef Art Boyardee, but she says Steven told her that she ain't got no kids. That's his baby. And she decides that she's now going to reside elsewhere, specifically La Mirage. Adam comforts her as a fellow outcast and mentions that the Carringtons are very possessive. This rubs him the wrong way. This is the umpteenth time he's seen this in the flesh, and he's going to go let Steven know about himself. It took all this for her to realize that Adam, let her tell it, has always been her advocate. This is that revisionist history that Dynasty is so famous for. Now, I can't say one way or another. I feel like Adam's always been pretty kind to her. He's pretty kind to most women on the show, actually, surprisingly. But I feel like this might be an opening. They're clearly shifting things around. Claudia was with Chef Art Boyardee for a minute. Is Adam next? I find this to be wildly inappropriate if that's the case, because it's like, girl, you done banged every man except Blake in the house. And Claudia just doesn't strike me as that sort of woman. Not that there's, I'm not saying there's anything necessarily wrong. Like with you have a relationship with one person, you don't need more, you move on, but they all in the same house. That's wild. Okay. So the next scene, we get to see Dominique Devereaux. She's got the flu or a cold or the low down dirty blues. She is coughing elegantly into a handkerchief when her fine, iconic husband returns from whatever unprofitable expedition he's been on. Who cares? Because it's William December Williams, so it is what it is. And he came with gifts. You can forgive a lot of things. Plus, she had $75 million to spare. She's doing just fine. So as she coughs elegantly and walks around in her silk short set with nylons, because she's a lady, she laments into Billy D. Williams' gift holding arms that Blake still won't acknowledge her as his flesh and blood. A sister from the same mister, different diaspora, but that's not the point. Mr. Lloyd reminds Dominique that she invented herself. Baby, you are that girl. You came from literally nothing. You started from the bottom. Now you're here. You have millions of dollars to loan out to losers. Why are you tripping? Why do you need his acknowledgement? I feel the same way, Mr. Lloyd, a.k.a. William December Williams. He's like, baby, you are a goddess. You are a creator. Why trouble yourself with the likes of Blake Carrington? She can't really express in how she feels, but it's like it's the ultimate rejection. She has literally been an orphan. Her father allegedly rejected her again by telling Blake that he ain't got no black daughters, as far as he know. Which, if I was, okay, I'm trying to look at this objectively. Yes, this is your sister, allegedly. You don't know that anybody can come in off the streets and say those sorts of things. I do think it's odd that a wealthy woman would say that. That would be my thought process. She didn't really have anything to gain. And like Lloyd has already mentioned, she invented herself. She does. What does she gain from this? Like there are better names to associate yourself with if you needed to do that. And if your daddy was kind of hoish back in the day, that seems like a very plausible outcome. She's having trouble expressing the thoughts of the mind of an orphan who's been rejected. There's no amount of personal success that can fill that void of rejection. Acknowledgement is the one and only cure. So Mr. Lloyd, who is desperately in love with Dominique, decides at that very moment he's going to visit Blake Carrington immediately. Meanwhile, at Alexis's fly apartment, Alexis Carrington Colby Dexter is mildly enjoying her new marriage to Dex Kickdo Dexter. He wants Amanda's grown behind out the house. Alexis won't stand for it. She accuses him of being intolerant where her spoiled, overly confident children are concerned. And as if on cue, Amanda enters the penthouse and Dex decides it's time for him to leave. He ain't trying to look at her right now. Alexis and Amanda have this cute heart-to-heart. And Alexis confesses that she and Amanda to be friends. I love you. I'm your mommy now and I want to be close to you. Amanda asks if Alexis and Fallon were ever friends. The word friends is a strong description that I wouldn't use in this one. I would say that God, what is a friend? They definitely have the same taste in men. They're definitely beautiful. Definitely got around. I mean, I wouldn't say they was friends. She's like, she kind of tap dances around it a little bit. Like, girl, we was kin. We was close. I was her mother for sure. The answer to that question, a resounding hell no. I feel like that's an order, but it's never delivered. Amanda would love to be friends so long as this relationship has remained open and honest, except for the fact that I banged your husband 2 days before you got married. I won't tell you that part, but other than that, it's cool. We're going to be cool. We're going to be friends, girl. Lloyd, a.k.a. William December Williams, does indeed go to visit Blake. He keeps it real cute at first, but he's not one to beat around the bush. So Lloyd point blank asks Blake why he won't acknowledge the beautiful Dominique Devereaux. Why aren't you claiming my fine ass wife? You claim that little British girl, the one with the shaky accent. What gives? Blake says that a daughter is one thing. I can claim a daughter because I know I banged her mom regularly. a sister. I don't know what my daddy was doing. I can't. And you know what, Blake? I'm with you when you're right. You're not wrong. I get that. Fully don't disagree. So Billy D gives his iconic, that slow stare. He's looking at Blake up and down and up with that smirk, that $1 billion smirk on his face. And he says the reason he visited this office on this day was to decide once and for all if he, Blake that is, was a friend or a foe. Now he knows. Lloyd, just to make it very clear, Lloyd's like, I need you to understand now, Blake, I'm your op and I am a most worthy adversary. Indeed you are, Mr. Lloyd. Indeed you are. Allegedly, we'll see. What Mr. Lloyd doesn't know is that Blake Harrington practices his affirmations every morning in the mirror. I do not have a bird chest. I am not brittle. I am that guy. I'm big and strong. I go on and on. And he says to Lloyd something he's been practicing his whole life. With his whole bird chest, he says, Mr. Lloyd, I've been up against many men, and I've never lost. Are we watching the same show? Never lost, y'all. Never lost. Not one time. I can't think of a time where he's actually succeeded on the first try on anything. Anything. I beg your most bougie pardon. I have to refer to, once again, one of my favorite ever reveals is when Cecil Colby had the wherewithal to record an embarrassing tape and request that it be played at his funeral just to give a final FU to Blake Carrington. It was iconic. Okay, so meanwhile, Alexis is over this Blake is the daddy BS, and she calls in the big guns. The one and only DD spelled with lowercase d. That is Miss Dominique Devereaux. These two exquisite, beautiful women decide they're going to have a real fly lunch. Now, I would love to go to lunch with Alexis. She keeps it cute. She always got a good snack. And by this point, I felt like I was sitting at the table with them until I realized I was terribly underdressed and couldn't help them. Alexis lays it out. She says over this fabulous lunch, Dominique Devereaux, I would like to buy your shares of Denver Carrington. It's a sinking ship, so I'll even throw in a few shares of Colby Co. Dominique Devereaux is suspicious. She says, why, heifer? You don't like me. Alexis breaks it down like this. She's like, listen, whether I like you or not is irrelevant. I like you more than I hate him. That's what I know. We both baddies. We both smart. Name two batter bees on TV right now. I dare you. I'll wait. I hate Blake and might be able to use a little bit of help from you. Unless, of course, you into Blake like that. Is that your boo? Dominique elegantly chokes on her champagne. ACCD says, yeah, I would choke on my champagne too if I had to think about Blake, girl. Blech, let me tell you. Blech. Baddies like you and I should be in an alliance. We're practically sisters. It actually makes sense to me for them to be sisters. Alexis decides it didn't work with Dominique Devereaux with two little D's. So she's going to tap lunch with BDW, a.k.a. Mr. Lloyd. And she explains that his wife is hard-headed and refused her very generous offer. Lloyd wants to know why the shares that Dominique has are so important to Alexis. Alexis is wearing the most beautiful, pink pantsuit I've ever seen. It's a dolman sort of cardigan. Seems like it's made of some acrylic material. So it's like a pink with a little bit of silver, horizontal stripe, a little bit of mesh. I'm totally describing it wrong, but go look. It is so gorgeous. And then the silk pantsuit itself is like a sweetheart neck. Beautiful. Mr. Lloyd's like, okay, why are her shares so important to you? Alexis says, I'm not going to lie to you. Blake has ruined me time and time again. Matter of fact, that mansion that he's living in is a casualty of cruelty. Now, Lloyd says that his wife is a very savvy businesswoman and she handles her own business. So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to help you out. There ain't enough smoked salmon in the world to change his mind. So please don't ask him no more. But he does something. He takes this information that Alexis has casually dropped into his lap, I don't think by accident, and he sits on it just for a moment. Back at the mansion, Adam is fuming because Claudia is moving out of the house. She's moving to La Mirage, and he feels like this is a recurring theme. Adam goes to chin check Stephen on his a-hole move of stripping Claudia of her motherly title. tells him to go to La Mirage and fix it with his wife so his son doesn't lose yet another mother. That makes me just go back to Daniel Reese. Daniel Reese is going to be devastated when he meets the hood rat that spawned from his loins. She really is trifling. And you know what? So trifling, in fact, that Steven snaps out of it. He didn't even realize Claudia wasn't in the house. He was basically telling Adam to mind his own business and he'll go upstairs and talk to his wife if he wants to. Adam's like, your wife ain't even upstairs. That's how out of it you are. You ain't ish, Steven. Go get that girl back so your baby can have a mama. And Steven's like, damn, you right. Actually, you really are right. Let me go get this woman. So he gets schnockered before he goes. He's totally wasted by the time he gets to La Mirage and he's making a scene. He's beating on her door. She is dressed like Blanche Devereaux. I don't know why. Going to bed. It's like a full weird gown. He's beating on the door all out, and he storms into La Mirage ready to grab her up. Get your ish. You're my wife. You're going to do your wifely duty. He pushes her on the chair. He's about to pull a Blake Carrington when Crystal was on the birth control pills, remember? Yeah. Steven was about to do it, and Claudia was like, okay, fine. You want to do this? This make you feel like a man? Beating, basically pushing a woman around. Then you're going to mount me like some weirdo? And he was like, damn. To his credit, he caught himself. He's like, dang, okay, yeah. That was weird. Can you imagine thinking you're not at all like the one person you sort of still despise a little bit? Him and his daddy might have made up, but there's always a sort of underline, like, my dad's kind of gross. And then you do something that would be just like him. And he's like, oh my God. Luckily, there's more booze to drink. So he goes down to the bar and J-Lo's future husband from Enough, what's his name, Luke, finds him and takes him home. This scene is so distracting. I can't even really tell you what they were saying because the long and short of it, Luke can tell that this dude is totally drunk. And he's like, I live nearby. Just come to my crib. I'm going to make you some coffee. It even seems like he's kind of okay with it, but he wants to go off. Like he still wants to talk about Claudia. The extra sitting by Steven is so damn distracting. That's all I could see. I was looking at this man looking all in their mouth. If you're going to be an extra, you have to understand how this works. You need to seem like you were involved in a busy conversation with other people. He all in their business, all in their mouth so much. I don't know what they said. Brady Lloyd, Dominique Devereaux's husband, is a good husband. This is the stuff pillow talk is made of. So he goes back to his wife and Dominique is big mad. She's super pissed that Blake isn't acknowledging her. She's still on that. And Brady convinces her, girl, it's time to blow up Blake Carrington's spot. How dare he not take your word for it? How dare he not look at this beautiful specimen in front of me and claim you immediately? That's his loss, baby. But you know what? His loss is your gain. We finna blow up his spot. He hypes her up. He hypes up his woman as he should. And she's like, yeah. So Crystal has got this whole I want to be a horse lady in the back of her mind now. She's been inspired. She had a wonderful evening. What she didn't do, though, is check in with her husband. I don't know where Blake thought she was all day, but wherever he thought she was, she wasn't. And she was like, she's excited to tell him about the horse situation. And he's like, damn, you can't pick up a phone. You can't call. You can't text. You can't do none of that. She's like, but I watched a horse be born today. Don't you see, Blake? You don't understand me. She goes into their whole, you know how they do. This is the wedge of mid-season. So yeah, there's that. Let's skip to this very random fundraiser. An excuse for the women of Dynasty to put on their finest evening gowns. I'm not in love with Crystal. So it's a black lace gown, totally see-through. So she's wearing a red dress under it. I'm not in love with the black and red. It reads a little bit harsh with her blonde. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. So this random fundraiser is for the hospital. The party is thrown in honor of Daniel Reese, who dropped $6 million at the hospital. Blake has balls to approach Reese with the, oh, hey, we're neighbors now because I donated a wing at the hospital too. Reese is like, oh, that's cute. That's cool. Okay. Anyway, Reese is actually being pretty cool about it. He's like, okay, I'll let you talk to me if you want. Until Blake started going on about his wife and Ish. Long story short, the night is danced away with Crystal and Reese and Blake and Alexis. Crystal is annoyed with Blake, so he's sitting at the bar by himself. She's dancing with Daniel Reese the whole night. Probably, too, because she's trying to work out in her mind if she's going to tell him that he has a Girls Gone Wild style daughter. He's not going to be very proud of her. And now she doesn't hate his guts because originally that was the whole thing. She thought he walked out on her sister while she was pregnant with Sammy Joe. He's none the wiser. She realizes he's a good man and he's got all these horses. He's going to take her under his wing. And he don't need no gloves to pull horse babies out of wombs. Hey, sounds like a winner to me. Blake is a little sad at the bar, and Alexis comes over and she's like, let's show him how we used to cut up back in the day. So they dancing. She's being all nice to him or whatever. Here's a little bit of a plot twist this episode. Reese knows Dex Dexter, and he presses him for answers. He pulls up on him like he owes him money. Hey, I want answers immediately. Dex saunters off. Dex doesn't seem like the type of man to keep himself in any sort of trouble, but I like the thought of him being in trouble because I know that's going to be entertaining. Okay, this is where I have my biggest beef with Dynasty yet. The lovely Nicole Simpson and Jeff are breaking into Fallon's office to look for a treasure map. I said that with a straight face, just like Dynasty. Somebody wrote that down. Treasure map. Jeff Colby, treasure map. Do you know that they go into Fallon's old office? Nicole Simpson has super night vision, I guess, because y'all remember that episode where she had Claudia stow away some papers for her? She apparently clocked the combination to the lock from the frickin' door. So they go in, they 3 to the left, 3 to the right, real quick left, real quick right, clickety clack, safe opens, envelope inside from Fallon, or to Fallon, from Peter to filibuster. Do you know that Jeff Colby, I'm so mad, y'all, as I say this, I'm so angry, reaches into this envelope and pulls out an elementary style drawing of an Incan entity on 8x11 white paper, drawn in with a frickin' Sharpie. You mean to tell me that an ancient Incan map to a solid gold deity that probably would need to be protected at all costs, probably passed along to through the hands of the tribal chiefs for millennia, would end up in Denver, Colorado, in a 3-star hotel, in a safe, in an envelope, on a piece of 8x11 white paper. Dynasty, how you spending $1.7 million on hair, makeup, and champagne, and nobody thought to pick up a piece of sepia paper or leather hide? Hell, I saw Alexis wear 2 leather suits. We could have cut out the skirt lining of one of them and put the damn map on it. Y'all, I'm so mad at this. Do you know these two people, Nicole Simpson and Jeff Colby, rejoice gleefully? They're going to hop their country asses on a plane, fly to South America on this 8x11. Oh, it's not even the full one. I didn't even tell you that. I think it's a third. I think it could be half of it. It is an elementary drawing, like a really talented 4th grader drew this. I'm so irritated. It's the little details. Pull me completely out of the scene. It's going to be the name of this episode. It's not even sepia. Could have at least splashed a little tea on it. Anyway, where was I at? Okay, so back to this party where Crystal's. I mean, it's not. I keep looking at the dress. It's not a horrible dress. I just think that the black and the red with her blonde is just not working. Or if her hair was pulled up or something. Ooh, if it was slicked back, it would have been so cute. All right, anyway, here we go. So later on, Crystal and Blake, of course, have a fight over the horses. You don't want me to be great. You are great at home, taking care of that bloodless baby at the hospital. Oh, one of the doctors told Crystal to take her ass home. I can't remember if that was last episode or this episode. Basically, you're smothering this kid with all this attention. Stop breathing on this glass and just go home, lady. You need, oh, he did. It was this episode. The doctor told her. She keeps getting it reinforced that she needs to find other things to do. You already gave birth. Like, you already almost died. You need to go find something else to put your energy in. Doctor tells her not to come back to the hospital every single damn day breathing on this glass. That baby needs to fill back up with blood. I need you to be cool about it, okay? And she's like, you know what? You absolutely right. This is my sign that I need to run a horse farm or whatever. So she and Blake are fighting over this during the party when Claudia interrupts him. Claudia has on another silver snakeskin outfit. Bet money I'm finna find me one. She tells him that there's a request to speak to Mrs. Dominique Devereaux in her office. Dominique Devereaux has time today. Okay, big brother, I told you had 2 choices. Acknowledge me or feel my wrath. This baby is my wrath. She tells him that he misappropriated the funds. He misappropriated the funds by using some of the $75 million that she gave him to pay off his mortgage. That money was supposed to go to Asian oil wells. So I guess there's some like legal troubling within that. Before he can get too deep into it, before she can really give it to him, she on a roll, she feeling herself. Damn phone rings. I guess the phone rings somewhere. I guess Claudia, I don't know. Claudia peeks her head back in and she says, "Hey, Blake, someone's on line 1 for you." Blake picks up the phone. It is an urgent call. He's like, "Hello? Yes. How long does he have?" "All right, I'll be there." Turns out it is his father's handler or somebody from the estate telling him his daddy is on his deathbed. He has X amount of days and he finna be dead. Blake's going to go to his side. Dominique says, "I'll be damned if I don't go too. I want him to look me in my face." End scene. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Didn't know it was going to be so National Geographic, but it was worth it. I'm going to go ahead and entertain myself by allowing myself the pleasure of watching the next episode because I really want to see who Blake's daddy is since he's just now being brought up on season 5. Also, I need to see how Jeff and Nicole are going to fly halfway across the world on this 8x11 piece of paper. All right, guys, stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your own business, and keep all of your drama on TV.